What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Quick Review Wednesday. Today, we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the experience we had after last week's episode of Quick Review Wednesday. Today, we're going to be talking about HT Enterprises and some of the best customer service in the fishing industry. Let's get into it. So folks, last week we did a review on these tip-ups. These tip-ups are freaking great, except for one thing. All 6 of my flags broke. Now, I posted the review video on a couple different ice fishing groups on Facebook. Now, I freaking cannot stand Facebook for the most part. A lot of the times you get a lot of keyboard warriors, and I literally ignore almost all of them. Or sometimes I try and egg them on because it just generates more engagement for the post or the video. Speaking of, we just had this guy on the video where I got arrested. His one comment generated, I think, somewhere over 100 comments because he just keeps going. And he is a complete fool with zero grammar. He's just a terrible human and must really hate his life, so he is just continuing to feed into it, and I just keep commenting back, and it's beautiful. I actually have a few people like Becca, our boy Max, I Can't Fish, and the gentleman who started the comment feed in the first place, Fishing with Jay, I believe it is. All of them are in it as well, and it's gold. If you guys want to go over to that video and comment on this crazy dude's comments, it would make my day. Anyways, I digress. I posted in a couple of these ice fishing groups, and I had some feedback. A lot of people were just telling me that it's my fault that the flags broke, and it's user error and all this stuff. And in my opinion, it's not 100% user error, especially if all 6 of my flags were broken. So I was a little pissed off. Also, I was pissed off when I made the video last week. So my final flag had broke, and I was at the end of my rope with these flags that I spent $20 or $25 a piece on, and all my flags are broken. Now, I had a couple guys comment that I should talk to HT. And don't get me wrong, I have some other HT tip-ups that work phenomenal. Like even some of their cheaper ones, like those little green ones we've been using that are Ryan's that he left with me because he's a putz, but I love him. But anyways, we're using Ryan's little cheap ones that he got last year, and they're freaking great. They work great. We've caught a ton of fish on them. And we caught a ton of fish on these as well, and it's not, my issue has nothing to do with anything besides the flag. Also, one other little thing that stunk for me is that they're 10 inches and I have a 10-inch auger, and I thought they were going to be just a touch bigger than 10 inches, but they're not, and so they kind of fall down the hole a little bit when it's not like freezing out, because if it's really cold out, the holes start to shrink up almost immediately anyways, and these work great. But I had this one gentleman tell me that I needed to contact HT, and I was like, I really don't want to, and he pretty much convinced me that I needed to contact them and gave me a personal email of one of the gentlemen that works for HT. So, part of me was like, should I do this? I mean, I don't want to even bother this guy. What's he gonna do for me? Like, what? It doesn't even matter at this point. I don't want any more flags that are gonna break. So I contact this gentleman just to do it, just to like kind of almost tell this guy like, listen, I did this, and like nothing came of it. I got an email back within minutes, which was insane to me. The first line of the email, because I sent him the review that I did. I told him what happened, and I sent him the actual review, and the first line of his email back to me was, "Thank you for contacting HT. It's reviews like this that help us update and improve our product line." That's unbelievable. He literally thanked me for making this review because it could help in the future. So we went back and forth with our emails a few times, and talked about a few different avenues we could take. They actually know about this issue, but in order to make these telescoping flags, in order to make them, they have to do it the way they do it. It's like a car antenna almost. And it's like a radio antenna almost. Now, the fact that these have to be out in harsh conditions, out in the freezing cold, and deal with all of that with the metal being thin, he also has had this same issue with his flags, and he came up with a few things that I could do to save my flags from breaking. That being said, if your flags do break, you can go online and purchase brand new flags, these exact flags for this exact tip up, and that to me is amazing because I've jibby rigged a couple of them with like duct tape or Gorilla Tape or whatever the heck I used, and I put fresh flags on using orange duct tape, which is huge, guys. If you have old tip ups and you lose your flag, all you need is a little bit of orange duct tape. That's a really cool trick, which probably all of you already know. So, that being said, we are getting new flags for the tip ups, and then we are going to treat them properly. Also, he told me about another product they have because of the other issue I was having, and it's basically a thermal hole cover that's 12 inches. So you put the thermal hole cover down to keep your hole from freezing, and then you put the thermal polar tip up on top of that cover. You've just doubled the amount of thermal activity going on, keeping your hole from freezing and keeping this from falling in my 10-inch auger hole. That is freaking amazing. So he took my issues and solved them immediately. Also, we developed a friendship. And instead of going emails back and forth, after a couple emails, this dude gives me a phone call. Like, just straight up calls me. So it took away all that robotic, email BS and gave me somebody real to actually talk to, which these days is insane. I've been trying to contact the post office for a lost package for the past few days, and I can't, for some reason I just can't get a hold of a real person, and it's annoying the shit out of me. Anyways, I digress. A few of the things he told me to keep these flags lasting longer is, one, you can't fully pull up the flag all at once. You need to slowly extend it up, otherwise you will end up pulling it out. So that's number one. You gotta just be careful and do it one section at a time. After fishing, leave it extended and wait for it to thaw out before you push it down. That's something I never did, nor would have even thought of. You also cannot push it down all at once from the top. You gotta do it section by section. So you do the bottom section, mid section, top section, and that's how you put it away without wearing on the metal as much, because the metal is thin and it's being out in the elements, like super cold, and then going into your car, which is super hot. You just gotta be careful and pay more attention to these flags. Also, you can't pick up the tip up by the flag. Sometimes a lot of the times when I go out and I'm fishing with other people, we all use each other's stuff, or we all use my stuff. So in order to stop these flags from breaking, I need to educate everyone as soon as I put these down to be a little more careful with these, because although everything else on this tip up is pretty rugged, the flag itself is not. Also, on days where it's not snowing or just wild outside, you could leave that flag unextended. Leave them closer to your shelter so you can see them, and then you don't need to extend the flag. And that's another way you could prolong the life of these flags. So something that we had talked about when we were on the phone with each other is putting with these flags a sort of instruction manual. That way when you buy these flags, you can see that you need to take a little bit extra care of the actual flags themselves and go over these points that we just talked about. So here I am on the phone with somebody from HT, solving issues together. As a consumer of their product, they're working with me to solve the issue, not just telling me to screw. That, to me, was unbelievable and went so far. Like, I cannot tell you how pleased I was to talk to somebody on the phone, for one, and two, to actually know that they care about the issue I was having with their product and they wanted to help solve it. That's wild. That's mind-blowing. How many times has that happened to you? I mean, it's never happened to me. This is crazy. This is hands down the best customer service I've ever had. So link down below if you do have these HT Polar Therm tip-ups and you broke your flag. Down below, I'm going to leave the link that you need to go and get a replacement flag. They are $6. If your tip-up is still under warranty, contact HT before you buy the flags. So something they wanted me to talk to you guys about, because I told them I was going to make this video because of how pleased I was with the customer service. They want you to know that they're trying to bring to the market cost-effective, innovative products. And they know that not every single product is going to be a complete hit. They hope it is, but obviously that's not the real world. Sometimes things just don't work 100% the way you wanted them to work. And that's why getting them the feedback, especially before doing a review video of their tip-ups and the flags that broke, before I talk to them, is a no-no. If you have an issue with one of their products, especially this company, you need to contact them and talk to them about it via email at first, and then who knows, maybe you'll be on the phone with one of them helping solve some of the issues at hand, because that's how they improve their product, with the feedback of guys and gals like us. But that's why they back everything 100% and try to go above and beyond in customer expectations. This is straight from his mouth. I will challenge any other company to beat HT's customer service. We may not always be able to satisfy everyone. That's impossible in today's world, but we listen and make the effort to do what's right. And in my opinion, that is exactly what was done here. They listened to my issue and they wanted to improve the product, and they wanted me to leave a satisfied customer. In my personal opinion, the customer is not always right. I bartended for a long time. I've been a mate on the boat for a little while now. Sometimes people are wrong, but if you can actually get them, even the wrong ones, on your team, that's unbelievable. So guys, talking about HT as a company, after talking with them about these tip-ups and everything, I went onto their website and I did a little bit of research myself, and I was blown away at the amount of products that these guys have out there. They're from Wisconsin, which you guys know I love, and their stuff, like the amount of stuff they have is endless. They have bibs, they have ice shacks, they have auger, like they have everything. They make the bucket seats. I used to own one of their swivel bucket seats, which I fell through the ice with and lost, but their little bucket seats are phenomenal. These guys make super innovative, really cool products, and they try and keep them at a reasonable price, a very reasonable price. And they have literally everything you could think of when it comes to ice fishing. Rods, reels, all sorts of fun stuff. So down in the description, their entire website will be linked, and I encourage you to go take a look at their catalog and see if anything interests you, because there's a lot of fun stuff on there that I had no idea that these guys made, because literally what I see is just in our stores here in the Northeast. Like, they have so many more products that I've never seen of theirs, and that kind of blew me away. They had a tip-up that sets the hook, not like one of those jaw jackers like with a rod and reel, like an actual tip-up, so that when the fish bites, the hook is set already, so you don't have to go up and set the hook when you see the fish running. You go up, you see the fish running, and you just go. Now, I use circle hooks, so that's kind of how it is for me anyways, but the hook is already set. You already have the fish on, and all you need to do is bring it in, and that's a pretty cool invention. I have to say, I definitely want to try that out. So guys, the bad review that I gave last week on these Polar Therm Extreme tip-ups, I can pretty much take back everything I've said, because they've fixed both of my issues. a cheap way to get brand new flags that are not just jimmy rigged garbage, which is not what I wanted. People were like, well, why don't you fix your flags? I fixed mine. I'm like, I don't want to have to fix my flags. I don't have to. I just get new ones. And the other issue that I had with these being 10 inches and just a little bit small for my 10-inch auger, they have solved both of my issues. And so I have to say that these HT tip-ups, because everything else with these HT tip-ups was prime, these HT tip-ups are definitely something that you want to look at if you're looking to purchase a tip-up of this style. And if you want other types of tip-ups, they literally have everything. So take a look at the HT website. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Listen, I may not always be right. In fact, I'm wrong a lot of the time. But I'm the type of person that if I am wrong, I'm going to come out and tell you that I'm wrong. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I was right the entire time. And that's what this video is all about. I made last week's Quick Review Wednesday about something that I thought I was right about. And in my mind, I was right. Come to find out, I was totally wrong. And these tip-ups right here are phenomenal. Fixing that flag situation to me is the #1 reason why I would buy these again. Now, as soon as my flags come in, we're going to do another video on how to replace these flags, and we'll talk about these tip-ups again. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of Quick Review Wednesday. I'm out. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell as well. We're dropping videos every single weekday. Tomorrow's is an ice fishing banger from New Year's Day, and I would love it if you guys tuned in for that one. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. And fish out.
Gun finna jump for the shit. All top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go. It's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the field. Say vivid for the ears. I know that's how they like.